Hi, this is Trey Passer. Welcome to my review of The Flash with spoilers. So we're going to talk spoilers in this movie, and I'm going to talk about the cameos and the post-credit scene, talk about all of it in this. Okay, like I said in my other review, I gave this movie a B minus, I guess an 8, a lower 8 or B minus. I think I would give this movie, The Flash. I did enjoy it. Okay, it was a lot funnier than I thought it was going to be. There was a lot of scenes in there that made me just chuckle and laugh my behind off, uh, which I wasn't expecting. But there are still emotional moments in this movie, which I really enjoyed. Where to begin? Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller, I think he did a really good job as the two Barrys, I guess, or three Barrys if you think about it, I guess. Um, he did a really good job playing the different Barrys and stuff, the various Barrys, and he was hilarious. Especially there's a scene, a great. That's what I guess talk about it briefly, but there's a great sequence when he gets when Barry gets set basically he runs back in time. He gets pushed out of the Speed Force, literally, uh, by some creature, which I'll talk about later. Okay, and he winds up in his universe, in the universe where he sees his mom's alive, his father's alive. Okay, and he's just going to college and stuff. But basically he has powers and the other Barry doesn't have powers. Okay, and he when he finds out what the date is, he said, okay, we got to make sure so I can get back. Uh, make sure we repeat the accident so that to make sure that you get the powers, so I can actually travel back in time. So they go to the lab, to do it, to recreate the experiment, and when he gets struck by lightning, our Barry, put it that way, our Barry, or short-haired Barry, he gets struck by lightning and his powers get taken away, and the other Barry, long-haired Barry, he gets the powers. And there's some great funny sequences, like when, like I knew once the lightning went through our Barry that he was going to have powers, and the other Barry would have powers. And there's a scene where he phases the other Barry into to get into the lab. And it's the other Barry's reaction is hilarious because he said he loves phasing, which is and that other Barry was like basically like a stoner. Okay, so later when Barry thinks he's gonna when they're after they're running to escape, and Barry thinks he's gonna take off and he poses like he's gonna pose, and basically he starts running around thinking he's gonna run fast, and he just basically runs around in a circle real slow, which I don't know, that cracked me up. Because that really just cracked me up because I knew he was going to have powers, and the way he just did it, the way they just show him like pose, get ready, like he gets ready when he gets ready to run real fast, and he did that, and then he just ran around real slow, and then until he realized that he didn't have powers anymore, and then him and Barry they go back to his apartment, and the other Barry he kind of phases. When he uses his powers for the first time, he's basically naked. There's a great sequence where he basically runs around the city and destroys everything, literally, and he's left butt naked, butt naked in the street. And then he comes back, and the other Barry explains to him how when you run fast, your regular clothes are going to disintegrate. You at that Mach speed, and he puts a robe on the other Barry, and the other Barry and then tries to phase again. And he phases right through the other apartment. And you hear a woman screaming, and then you see the other Barry come right back up running with a pot, holding a pot above his private. So I don't know. Those two sequences just absolutely made me crack up laughing. Anyway, what I didn't like I said, there's the I guess co-workers. I guess Patty Sibbett, I guess that's her name. And then I forgot the other guy's name that was in the two co-workers he had that worked in a lab with him. Those characters to me was unnecessary and not funny at all. I mean, there was I guess two sequences they were um, in the beginning of the movie when Barry goes to work and they're teasing Barry, and then the second sequence is after he's gone to the other universe, and he goes to the other Barry's apartment, and he has roommates, and it's those characters, and they're not funny. I'm sorry, I didn't laugh at all at those characters. I thought those characters were annoying. Okay, they didn't do anything for me. They didn't. I mean, I think I would have preferred more Iris to be in this movie. I think that would have been better. They could have had Iris do basically they were just sitting around talking about how Eric Stoltz was really Marty McFly until our Barry finally caught on that he did change things, And now Eric Stoltz, who was originally hired to be Marty McFly, is in their universe now. Marty, he's been in the Back to the Future movies and stuff. But them going on, the whole sequence with them was just, to me, just annoying with them. That I didn't care for those characters at all. I would have preferred more Iris. And speaking of Iris, Clarence Clemens, I call that Clarence Clemens. What? What's her name? Damn, why I butchered her name. I'll say Clarence Clemens. It's Clemens. Hold on. Hold on. I'll get her name. I just don't want to butcher her name. Let's say who plays Iris West. Who plays Iris West in the Flash? In the Flash movie. Oh, Kersey Clemens. I'm sorry. I call you Clarence Clemens. Kersey Clemens. I liked her the little bit that she had. I would have liked her to be in the movie more. I thought she was really good in this sequence. I think there was a couple of sequences that she was in. And I know because of the behind-the-scenes photos that we saw that there was more to her scene at the end when Barry's father gets exonerated and she's walking with Barry. And I think his father is walking with him too as well. But they cut that out from this movie. But anyway, I thought she was really good. And I would have preferred her character in the movie more than those other annoying characters. I think those characters were annoying and not funny and not needed at all. Okay. Sasha Calle as Supergirl. I thought she did a really good job. I knew her from the soap operas and stuff. And I knew when she got cast, I was really happy for her. I remember that video. I think I did a reaction to that video when Andy Muschietti told her that she was picked as Supergirl. I loved her costume. I thought her costume looked awesome, especially on the big screen. I thought it looked awesome. And I thought she was really, really good in this movie. Okay, her anger at Zod for when she finds out Zod. I knew that she was mad at Zod because Zod basically, they were actually looking for her in this movie. Zod, they were looking for her, and they actually killed Kal-El in this universe. And she went nuts, and she just like beating the crap out of Zod. But I really liked her. I liked her interaction with our Barry and the other Barry, who you could tell was kind of crushing on her. And I liked her. I loved the way she moved, the way she flew. And I hope that this is not a one and done for her. Hope James Gunn can figure out a way to have her back in this new Gunn universe, because I really liked what she did. And I love what she brought to the role. Thought she had good chemistry and just kicked ass. And I loved her character. And I was looking forward to seeing it. And she didn't disappoint me. And that's why I hope she gets to continue on to play Supergirl. Again, Michael Keaton was great. And when you first see him, you don't even recognize that it's him. And that whole sequence when the two Barrys come to his house, and he starts attacking them and stuff, and the other Barry is moving out of the way because he has powers, but our Barry keeps getting beat up. I thought that was hilarious. Okay, and then later when they're sitting down talking, and he's explaining the multiverse to our Barry with finger spaghetti. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. Okay, I like Michael Keaton, and that's a shame again because of the changes. We don't get to see him, because they canceled the Batgirl movie, and then remember he was supposed to be like in a mentor type role and stuff, and all that stuff we won't get. And remember he filmed, I think, a cameo in the Aquaman movie. We won't see that anyway because then Ben Affleck filmed a cameo, and then I think that cameo is going to get cut out from the Aquaman movie. So it's a lot of stuff that's going to get cut out, unfortunately. But I thought Michael Keaton was really good, and it was good to see. He had some of the best action sequences in the movie. I mean, the scene where he helps them break into that the Russian camp to rescue Supergirl. Some of the best action sequences. He just kicked ass and just remind you why he was a badass Batman. And I really enjoyed it. Those are some of the best action scenes in the movie, and I really enjoyed what he did as Batman. Now, who else? Let's see. I'm just trying to think. Sasha Calle. Again, Ezra Miller I thought was really, really good in this. And Kersey Clemens I liked. Like I said, the things that I didn't like, I think the beginning of the movie was great. They had a great opening, like a sort of a Justice League sequence in a way. And I think, again, if And then they have all the behind the scenes drama with Ray Fisher and everybody else. They could have and Henry Cavill, all that stuff. They could have had a great opening scripting Justice League sequence. They had, as it is in the beginning of the movie, we just see Superman on TV going to save a volcano, or stop a volcano, and you can't tell who that is. And then later in the movie, when they do show Barry going through the multiverse, you see like a CGI version of Henry Cavill, which is a shame. And I hope when they release this movie on video, on Blu-ray, put all the cameos back in there, please. Okay? Put all the... I would like to see an uncut version with all the cameos in there and the original ending that it was supposed to have in it, with Michael Keaton surviving, and I think Sasha Calle. They were supposed to survive to be in further movies. So I'm hoping when they release this movie on video, they have an alternate cut of it, and with those sequences in there, and those cameos and those sequences in there. And speaking of cameos, they had some really good cameos. They had Christopher Reeve, which I was kind of expecting that. I was expecting Linda Carter, but she wasn't in there. And we got Helen Slater as Supergirl. I didn't expect that at all. And so you got to see them, of course, obviously CGI, Christopher Reeve and Helen Slater standing there next to each other. I thought that was really good. And then they had George Reeves, which I wasn't expecting at all. I thought that was really nice that they did that. And also they had Adam West, Batman. Okay, I wasn't expecting that either. That was really good. And then also they had Nicolas Cage as Superman, because we all know from the Tim Burton movie that never got made. And they had him actually fighting the giant spider, which I thought was hilarious. Okay, and I was kind of happy for Nicolas Cage. You got to see himself as Superman in a movie. Even though that movie had got canceled, it was nice that they put that in there for him. That was really nice. And again, we got to see Gal Gadot in the beginning. I thought they were going to cut the sequence out, because I heard that she was in the opening scene when she was going to save Ben Affleck's Batman, and she does do that. And then there's a little funny sequence when the lasso of truth is kind of tied around Batman, and he has a kind of a little rant, where he's honest with his feelings. So I thought it was absolutely hilarious, and he's trying to unravel the the lasso of truth off his himself. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. Okay, that scene. But we got to see Gal Gadot, I guess, one more time as Wonder Woman, maybe the last time. Okay, when she rescued Batman. So that was nice to see him and then Barry had. I forgot about that again. There was a nice, great opening scene where he's in the beginning of the movie where he rescues all these babies and stuff. Which the creative way they did that, and it's not like we haven't seen this before. Of course, when they did it with the 20th Century Fox, was it 20th Century? With the Quicksilver, the other version of Quicksilver, when they did those, when I forgot the guy's actor's name, Peters, right? Evan Peters. When they did that with him, they did a similar thing with Ezra Miller's Flash, when he's basically running low on energy, and he basically ate a bunch of stuff before he started rescuing the babies and stuff, and the nurse that was screaming and screaming. And I don't know, that just it made me laugh. Like I said, this movie made me laugh more than I thought it was good. I thought there are some serious emotional moments and stuff in there, but this movie made me laugh more than I thought I was going to do. That really surprised me how much humor that he put in this movie, which I thought was really nice. And just like people said, the third act, again, I thought the third act was really good. Again, like I said, the middle part was kind of not kind of a drag, but again, because those idiots, roommates and stuff, that whole sequence, I hated. Not that I hated, I just didn't find that funny at all. Okay, and I think they could have cut that out completely and maybe put more Iris in there. I would have appreciated that. Okay, but again, the third act, I think when they when they go battle after they've saved Kara, and they're fighting Zod, going to fight Zod and his army and stuff. I thought that whole sequence was really good, and they actually show them actually getting defeated. Kara gets stabbed, and they take the codex out of her, take out of her blood and stuff, and then you see Barry. The other Barry decides, let's go back and do a reset, and he does it like 2 or 3 times, and our Barry goes, wait a minute, okay, stop doing it. This is probably pointless because because it's always gonna, we're always gonna fail. So he's basically telling them that this universe is gonna die, and it's not gonna change anything. And of course, the other Barry will not, and that's where you get that scene that you see in the trailer where he says nobody dies, and he keeps going back and back to try to change it. And eventually his character becomes I guess Dark Flash. I guess that's what they call him, the Dark Flash. Uh, and he's the one that actually pushed Barry out of the Speed Force. Uh, and then you see him. He makes another appearance when they're in the Speed Force again, telling him that Barry's the reason why and he's saying that he almost made it. And you see the other, and he's basically torturing our Barry when the other Barry comes back, and basically he sacrifices himself because he's the Dark Flash. That's a later, or I guess a different version of that Barry, I guess alternate Barry, or long hair Barry. That's him. That's a version of the Dark Flash. That's him. So he basically sacrifices himself. He steps in front of when the Dark Flash gets ready to stab our Barry. He steps in front of it and basically kills. But by himself getting killed, he kills the other Dark Flash, and he fates. And then Barry actually goes back in time and stops, because his whole thing was, which they explained in the movie. Henry Allen had to go back to the store to get a can of tomato sauce because they forgot that. She needed 2 cans of tomato sauce, but he went to the store to get the tomato sauce, and that's when his mother got stabbed, and then he came back, and of course they pinned it on him. And then in this movie, Barry has the footage, but in the original timeline, they can't see his face, so that's why. But then later, after Barry actually goes back in time, and after his previous earlier version came and actually because he figures that if he could I think early in the movie when he figures that if he actually, when they go shopping, he travels back when their mother was actually shopping the first time, he puts the extra can in there. The father wouldn't leave, and he'd be home. Hence, that would change so that way his mother wouldn't die, because his mother. Although I don't know how he think. Why wouldn't you think that your mother? His logic is, I guess, that if the father doesn't leave the house, she doesn't get stabbed, and that changes everything. But actually, it still screwed up everything. So he actually goes back at the end of the movie, and after his earlier version drops the can in the cart, his later version of himself goes back and takes the can out, and he has a nice heartfelt moment with his mom and stuff, where he puts shades on and a hat and all stuff to kind of disguise himself. And he's talking about visiting his mom and stuff, and she gives him a hug, and it's really good and emotional and stuff. Oh yeah, and speaking of other things, Zod in this movie was actually, I thought based on the trailer that he's just going to get his ass kicked by Sasha Calle, Supergirl. He did for a little bit, but then he was pretty brutal to Supergirl. Excuse me. And he was Michael Shannon was again, his character is pretty brutal, because they kept showing all the different versions of them when they lose, and her getting stabbed and him just falling short, and then he keeps trying to do it again and again. I just thought, excuse me, that sequence was really good in this. You just felt so bad, because our Barry's trying to tell the other Barry, listen, this universe is going to die, because no matter, it's going to fail. Zod is going to win. So there's no point to keep trying to do the same thing. Okay? So, and I'm trying to think what else in this movie I love. Okay, I'm trying to think. Hold on. Again, like I said, I love the beginning sequence. I thought it was great. And like I said, if they didn't have all the drama and stuff and all the behind the scenes stuff, you could have had a nice Justice League. That opening sequence could have been a nice Justice League cameo thing. As it was, you got I guess 3/5 of the Justice League in there. Although again, Wonder Woman just came at the end to save Batman. But Ben Affleck's Batman was a killer in that, and I love Ezra Miller's him saving the people and saving all the babies and eating because he was burning out. He was low on fuel, so he had to eat a bunch of stuff before he could save all the babies and stuff. I thought that was hilarious and really nice. I'm trying to think what else I enjoyed. Again, like I said, I love Mike Keaton's Batman. He had some of the best action sequences too. Once he agreed to sign, again, great. Again, and again, you kind of hope, like I said, I hope they have an uncut version of this movie, a movie with all the cameos in there and the original ending on it with Michael Keaton. Although I don't know, they would probably have to pay them if they put those sequences in there. But why not have an alternate version where well, actually, Sasakali, Supergirl, actually survives to this universe, and Michael Keaton's Batman is a new Batman, because I know that's the way they originally filmed it, but then they went back and changed it. And I have to say, I legitimately laughed my behind off when Barry came back, and he changed the camera angle in the supermarket so his face could be seen. Okay, so his father was going to get free, and then Barry's leaving, and he makes a date with Iris, and then he gets a call from Bruce Wayne. He said, "I'm here, I'm here, Rat." So again, I think in the original sequence it was Michael Keaton's Batman coming out of there, but in this sequence, when he says, "I'm right here, Barry," and he comes out of the car, it's George Clooney, and I laughed my behind off. I don't know why that made me laugh. That it was George Clooney. And Barry's teeth fell out of his mouth at the same time. I don't know, that made me laugh. Okay, and the post-credit scene is just with Aquaman, a drunk Aquaman, Barry trying to explain to him what happened, him traveling back in time and stuff, and basically Arthur Curry just face plants into some water and says, "I'm home," and then it basically goes off. And like I said, I think the original cameo was this was the original cameo that I heard from Grace Randolph from Beyond the Trailer, that Ben Affleck's Batman contacts Barry and says, "Come to rescue me. I'm stuck in the multiverse." And that would be what the second movie is about: Barry trying to find Bruce Wayne, Ben Affleck's Batman, who's stuck in the multiverse. Okay, but overall, like I said, I gave this movie a B-. Again, there were a few things I didn't like. Like I said, those office mates that he had and the roommates once he got to the alternate universe, I thought they were very annoying. Didn't like them at all. I wanted Kiersey Clemons as Iris West. I wanted her to be in the movie more. I think what we got I did like, but I think I would have liked her more if she was in the movie more. I think they should have showed her. I know once he travels over to the universe, he's actually going to go on a date with Iris West, because he's crushing on her, but he doesn't actually go on it, because they actually have to go, meet Batman to try to rescue, to find out where Superman is. And that whole sequence, again, when they go rescue Supergirl, is they actually, like I said, they're looking for Superman, but they actually go rescue Supergirl. And again, Michael Keaton's just kick ass in that whole sequence. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. Again, really good to see him again, and he was just a total badass. Again, like I said, he started off a little goofy with the whole sequence where he was attacking them in the kitchen. I thought that was absolutely hilarious, but he was a badass in this movie, total badass. Okay, and him dying in one of those versions of this, before when Barry realizes finally that we can't keep doing the same thing going back, because it's just a fixed point in time. This is going to happen. This universe is going to die. It's going to be taken over by Zod, and they're going to win. And just again, I love this movie, and definitely recommend it. Again, I gave it a B- or an 8. I guess that's my ranking of it. Definitely recommend it. Go see it. Again, I think that beginning part of the movie was like a little love letter, little head nod by Andy Muschietti to Zack Snyder, by having Batman have a kick-ass cameo, a kick-ass opening, having be just a total badass in that opening sequence, which was so kick-ass. Okay, but anyway, let me know what you think of The Flash. If you've seen it, what do you think of it? Feel free to leave comments down below. Remember, this is a spoiler review, so you can talk about anything you want down below. I have links to my social media in the description box: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I also have a link to my other channel, Love Views and Opinions. Check that out as well. I also have a link down below to my Patreon. My Patreon's only $5 a month. I have tons of content on there, tons of unedited content on there. Everything from Marvel shows to DC shows to Star Wars shows to movies to The Boys Season 3. Follow the link below. Check it out. Also, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps the channel, and I truly appreciate it. Also, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so you know when I upload new content to this channel. And this is Trey Pastor saying so long, and take care.